Welcome back to BRN Test Drive. I'm James, and this is the 2025 BMW M440i. Now, if you're in the market for a really good daily driver sports coupe car, then I have the perfect selection for you. Look no further, the BMW M440i is exactly what you need. I spent an entire week with it, and it is such a good daily driver despite only having 2 doors. I find I have plenty of trunk space. I have enough room in the rear seat. Although it's a little bit hard to get into, I think we still have enough room for, the smaller passengers, which currently in my life, that's what I have. This BMW M440i has impressed me so much, in fact, that I would walk into a BMW dealership today and buy this exact spec over all of the cars that I've driven this year. The year is not over yet, but this BMW M440i has my top spot so far. And as we go through the video, I'm gonna explain to you why. Now, first up, let's take a look under the hood. We have a 3-liter twin power turbo inline 6-cylinder with a 48-volt mild hybrid system. This thing puts out 386 horsepower, 398 pound-feet of torque. We've also got an 8-speed automatic transmission and BMW's xDrive, which is a rear-wheel bias all-wheel drive system, and I think it works phenomenally. Now, my version that is standing in front of me here of the M440i comes extremely well equipped, and it's probably why I like it even more than just the base one, because I have a premium package that's going to give me comfort access, lumbar support, parking assistant plus included surround sound view. I've got a Harman Kardon surround sound system, very nice. I've also got the BMW driver recorder, the digital cockpit professional. I've also got the heads-up display and video augmented reality navigation, which is all really premium stuff, so it makes sense to have that here. And if you can afford to option it, and you're also going to want to option this next one, the M Sport Pro package. That's going to give us the M Sport brakes red. You can also get them in blue, but with the red paint color, makes sense to get those in red as well. The Shadowline headlights, the adaptive LED headlights, and the LED taillights with laser technology. I never thought that I would need lasers in my taillights, but after seeing them on this M440i, I absolutely love that technology. It is awesome. It looks really cool at nighttime and on the car. I am such a fan of this. And last but not least, for our packages for this M440i, I've got the assisted driving package, which gives us steering and lane control, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, so you can use it in traffic. And to top it all off, we get a lane change assistant, which means when you're driving on the highway at your set speed, you put your turn signal on, and if it's safe to move, the BMW will take care of the lane change for you. The paint color we're looking at is called Vegas Red Metallic. Looks phenomenal. What a red that BMW has produced here. I just love the look of this thing. Then on the interior, you're gonna look at a black Vernesca leather with coral red highlights. Looks phenomenal as well. Now, the starting price for one of these M440i's is $72,300 Canadian, and my as-tested price is $83,200 Canadian. And to be honest, when I first took a look at this thing, I thought we would be a lot closer to an MSRP of over 100 grand or very close to it, but this kind of feels reasonably priced when we're talking about a BMW. But now there's all the specs, the packages, and everything else under the way. Let me hop in the interior. I want to feature that for you really quick, and then of course, a test drive. Let's get right into it. All right, so sitting inside the M440i, what a place to spend time. You can see this really nice seats. They're super comfortable. The bolstering is really well done. It's also adjustable. So is the, the support stuff. So it's all power adjusted for the driver and the passenger. So that's very nice. Also, at the beginning of the video, I mentioned how it was a little bit difficult to get into the backseat and out of the backseat, which is still the case. But I think BMW have done their best to make it easier for people to do that, for the smaller people to do that, because the seat, once you pull it forwards, it will automatically move up to the max so that you have the max room that you can have to actually try to get into the rear seat. So I find that touch very nice. And I mean, yes, it is a tight squeeze. Yes, there is not that much headroom, but I fit my child seat inside of a Mustang GT. So I knew that if I needed to, I could also fit the car seat in here because I have more headroom in here, and I've also got a little bit more leg room in here. So I just was confident that I could do it. And if I was to actually own this vehicle, I feel like I have a separate car, so worst case, I would use that car. But also, if I was ever in a pinch, I could do it. I would have to bend and break my back a little bit to get the car seat in, but it would work, and I could make it happen, and that's really important here. Of course, there is always a Grand Coupe version available that you can buy without having a hassle, but I don't know. I feel like the version of the Coupe BMW M440i looks so much better. Now, I also really have enjoyed using the steering wheel. It's nice and big where I need it to be. It's got the D-cut. It's got the, the M Performance colors stitching on the sides of it. We've also got the red band here at 12 o'clock. Nice paddle shifters, a really responsive transmission as well. I love the big screens. It's the modern BMW look now. The infotainment is easy to use and understand if you spend a little bit of time with it. There is a lot of options. They do throw a lot of things at you at once. There's built-in Spotify, built-in weather, built-in navigation. There is no wired CarPlay in Android Auto, but there is wireless, so that's worked perfectly as well. But I am more of a wired guy. I would have liked to see that, but it wouldn't stop me from still wanting to buy this vehicle. One thing as well that I love, I've got 2 memory seat settings, so for 2 different drivers. So me and my wife, we can kind of trade off if we were ever to own this thing. But the nice thing is, and this is something that I think BMW have really put some thought into, because I notice when I'm driving coupe cars, the seatbelts are always really far back, right? Well, BMW has kind of fixed that problem for us. You can see if I open the door, it will go away on both sides of the vehicle. Now, if I close the door, here comes that seatbelt. It's gonna be handed to me. It's gonna make a cool BMW noise, and there we go. That's a very nice touch. I think that is probably one of the coolest things I've seen. They used to have those mechanisms where it would kind of like tie you in itself. You don't need to go that far, but this is very convenient, and I never have to reach further back than I want to because my seatbelt is being taken care of by the car. Now, last but not least, I love that the fact that this thing does also have a sunroof. It lets a lot of light into the car. It really kind of shines the different kind of materials that they're using. It lets it shine off the red. I'm a fan of sunroofs in all the cars. I usually don't like it when I don't have one. Very glad that this one comes with one, and it just adds to my love for this vehicle. But that's enough on the interior. Let's get this thing where it really shines. Let's take it for a test drive. All right, test drive time for the M440i, my favorite time of the week to just show you guys this thing. So right now I'm in Eco Pro mode. I can see how much kilometers it's adding back to my overall tank. So like I've got 1.3 kilometers and I've got 178 kilometers of gas range. So 1.3, so basically you just get maybe a kilometer or so extra, but it can go up. And I can see that the mild hybrid system is actually taking my braking and kind of recharging, or that's what it looks like based off the gauge here. And then I've also got a comfort mode as well, which kind of, makes the acceleration a little bit quicker. And then I've got the mode that I'm pretty much always in. Look, I've only got this thing for a week, so being efficient is not really my main priority. I did, however, use it on the way to work and stuff like that, just to kind of test to see how it would perform and what it would do. And I think this thing could be very efficient, especially with like a lot of city driving, because you would regenerate quite a bit of battery power from that. So I feel like it could help, but I'm always in Sport Plus mode when I'm driving around my city here. I just can't help it. I mean, you'll probably be able to hear the exhaust. Oh my god, the burbles and bangs that it does out the back. That is not a pumped in audio. You can hear it full well. Others can hear it too. I'm just attracting eyeballs left and right this week. I've gotten so many thumbs up from other BMW owners, so many head nod, like it's just crazy. I've had a couple of owners of other cars, like a Mustang owner came up to me the other day and like was just obsessed with this M440i, and I don't blame him because it can do this. Oh my goodness. Challenge this week has been stay out of prison because the speeds that this thing is capable of on a public road is not jail worthy. It's probably prison time worthy. Oh my goodness, it just is unbelievably fast. I'm in Sport Plus mode, so everything's crazy. I can even put it into S mode to make the transmission go into sport mode as well. We can give it a little bit of brake here. And a fire rolling. Oh my goodness, I have to stop myself from going too fast, because like I said, I don't want to go to jail. Oh my god. Yes. Ooh, and you just hear the exhaust the entire time, and like you can feel the car very well. I feel like the coupe and the center of gravity here is really, really low and really, really easy to understand and use. The all-wheel drive system, although rear-wheel biased, is very, very easy to control, I find. I love the meatiness of the steering wheel. I love that I can take manual control with my paddle shifters. It's got everything an enthusiast could want, and then a little bit, and then some, because look, you can also have comfort as well. Like I drove the CLA 45S, that thing, no matter what I did, comfort mode, eco mode, whatever it was, I could not get that to not bounce me around, to not bounce my spine around. That is not the case with the M440i. When you put it in comfort mode, Obviously, it doesn't have air suspension. It's not going to delete every single pothole that you drive over here in Quebec. I don't even think that's the purpose of it. But it does allow you to have a relatively comfortable driving experience should you want it. Throw it into sport mode, though, things do stiffen up a bit. And honestly, I don't care, because even in its sport mode, it's still more comfortable than something like the CLA 45 was. So that is super important to me when I look at stuff like that. And it's super important to me for the daily driver, because you don't always want to hop in a car and just get bounced around, your spine rearranged. You don't always want the car to be on 10. Like, obviously I spent a week with it, so yes, I do want this to be on 10 when I'm driving it. But if I own this for a couple of months, I'd probably spend a considerable amount of time in Eco Pro mode, just because I don't want to constantly visit the gas pump. But the good news is even though I've been pushing it in sport mode, a little bit of Eco Pro mode as well, I've done well over 250 kilometers by this point. I can tell you that my average is 12.2 liters per 100 kilometers, which, look, a lot of you will probably say that's still not great, which you'd be right, but still, for what this car is, take one rip in the M440i and then look at that fuel economy and tell me that's not pretty good. Because the way that this thing performs, the way that it sounds, the instant speed, everything that it does and has and is, just screams you're gonna pay a lot in gas, which you might, because this obviously only takes premium fuel, but still, it's going to take a lot longer to drain the gas that you put in. I do genuinely believe that. I think that if you spend a considerable amount of time in the city, which I do, and you're in Eco Pro mode, which I wasn't, you could probably get that number a little bit lower. So I think 12.2 might be like medium, like meh, but it's still way better than I was expecting. I was expecting to look at the average after 250 kilometers and just see, you know, like 20, 18. The fact that this thing is below 15 really surprised me. So let's take some manual control here with my paddle shifters. Oh, I got shift lights and everything. Check this out. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. I love it. The transmission is so fast. Like, I can downshift. Absolutely no hesitation. Lets me do it as well. Oh my God, I love this vehicle. Like, it's just so good at being both. It's so good at being efficient when you need it to be, comfortable and quiet when you need it to be, and just an absolute beast neighborhood disturber whenever you want it to be. Whenever you need it, the performance is there. And I love it. Ah, BMW, take my money. Just take it. Like, hey, it's yours. You want it? 83,200? Yes. If I won the million tomorrow, this is probably gonna be my daily driver. And the reason why it works for, my family setup is because I do have a second car with 4 doors that is, not sporty, nothing like that, and that, we could potentially drive more in the winter. But if this is your sole car and you still have small kids, I still think you could do it if they're kind of out of the car seat stage. And even a front-facing car seat would probably be pretty okay to do it, but they need to be a little older, because like it's kind of hard to break your back to put in the whole shell. It can be done. I really want to bring that home, is that it can be done. And it was easier, or I think it would be easier to do than the Mustang GT was, because there is a little bit more room, that seat slides forward. BMW have done everything they can to kind of make it easy to use should you want to use it with a family of 4, say. You can probably still do it, and then as the kids get older, it'll be easier and easier, and then once they can transition to the front seat, yes sir, it's going to be a good time. Now, I also want to mention a little bit about price. I feel like people are still going to tell me that $83,000 for any BMW is expensive, but honestly, I don't know. When I look at BMW, Mercedes and stuff, I think it's very competitively priced, and I was actually surprised by it. Obviously, with tax and stuff, you're probably going to approach, the 90 grand, the 100 grand mark, because Quebec taxes are brutal. But one second. We'll have to do that whenever we can. But yeah, I just feel like we get a lot. Like, I have my heated seats, heated steering. I've got excellent 360-degree cameras. I've got heads-up display. I've got built-in navigation. I've got wireless CarPlay. I've got a drive recorder. I've got a really good sport-looking package. This isn't the full M performance. This is the 4 Series with the M Performance package, so the appearance package. But it still looks really good. And I honestly don't even know, like, personally, like, I'm not looking for any more power than this. Obviously, a straight up M4 would absolutely rearrange my brain chemistry and possibly, give me some type of emotional damage, because it's so fast and I can't afford it. And just like this one is doing to me too. But I just feel like I probably would still stick with this. You know, if my budget was limited, say I only had 100 grand to spend on a vehicle, I'm probably looking at this, especially if it's a sport vehicle and I wanted like a two-door. You really have to be specific, but I still think that I'm surprised by how kind of low it is, and the starting price at $72,000. You can kind of mix and match your packages too on the BMW website. You can maybe get it a little bit lower as well. So look, I just think the engine, the sound, the way that it drives, the space that it has for a coupe sport vehicle, I think you know, I think the price is competitive, very competitive. So after kind of talking to you about all that stuff, bringing through all that stuff, I mean, you can clearly see why I just can't find a bad thing to say about it. I honestly, I saw Victor drive it and I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, I'll see. If it ever comes across my desk, I'll see if it's that good. No, he's right. It is that good. The engine, everything, it's just phenomenal. What a great coupe sport daily driver. It doesn't get any better here. I think they've beaten Mercedes CLA 45. You know, for the longest time, that was the one, that was the bar. And BMW, once again, this is kind of becoming a thing that I'm seeing, is BMW kind of tends, in my book anyways, to come a little bit above Mercedes in the things they offer and their driving. I tend to prefer them a little bit more. So far anyways. I got to drive a little bit more Mercedes to kind of really get a feel for it, but hey, this M440i has set the bar super high. So let me know what you think. Would you also walk into a dealer and give BMW whatever cash they wanted for an M440i? Or what else do you have in mind? What other competitor do you think that would stack up properly against it? Because maybe we could get both of the cars in a video, but also I just want to know your thoughts. Also, any owners, I'm jealous of you, number one. Number two, please let us know reliability. How has it been to actually live with these things on a day-to-day basis? I'm really, really curious to know how it's aged. Even if you have like a 23 or a 22, let me know how things have gone for you. I'm super excited to hear from you all. Make sure you leave a like, make sure you subscribe, and with that being said, I will see you next week, see you in the next car. Take care.